Okay, well, give me just a second. Make sure everything is operating as it should. Hang on a second. I'm just making sure. It says I'm published, but published means going live in the YouTube world. Doesn't necessarily mean anything in the regular world. Hang tight. Let me just make sure. Sometimes it just wants to take its sweet time going live, and it says I published it on Facebook, but I'm looking to see where it's all at. I've got to get this part knocked down. I'm trying to get up there. Tap to unmute. Trying to get to the chats. I'm on the actual thing, but I'm trying to get to the chats. Hang tight. Let's see. It says live. Where's live chat? There we go. Click here. It says 27 watching. Okay, why? I still need some assistance in navigating to this portion of the channel to get to live chat. And I pull it up. I can see it. And that is the headache, the glitchy part that I don't like. And I think it's because I'm watching it on Facebook. So hang tight just 1 second. Okay, where are you? Now you've like dumped me. This is the part that is like, there has to be a better way. Hang tight. I'm gonna do what my husband does. He's like, just go live straight to YouTube. So let's go YouTube. Oh, Lordy. Give me 1 second. If he was here, he'd be like, babe, if you just go to YouTube, you're like right there. But I'm trying to get to the actual live. Live. Okay, I'm not seeing it. I'm just going to go log out, and I'm going to go to Google. It should not be this difficult for me to find my own conversation to my own video. Hang tight though. Thank you guys for being so patient. Here we go. Can I see chats? Yes. I'm going to have to write step by step. So YouTube makes things challenging just as much as Facebook does, but YouTube wants you actually on a computer before you go live, and I don't want to go live from my computer. It's just, it takes way too long. So the good thing is that I have all of you there. So I have Sharon. Hi, Lori from Tennessee. Hi, Georgiana. Hi, Elizabeth. Right. Let's try it again. Facebook still is not playing nice. Even my private group experienced that this morning. They just, I don't know. It's like, you know that this is not beneficial for either platform because you're hindering people from accessing the platforms they want to see. But here we go nonetheless. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Cheryl. And Valerie. Thank you for joining us. And hi, Debbie. Right, Cheryl says, we'll get it. They need to get their stuff together. They need to make things easier. And this is why YouTubers are basically sitting in front of their computers doing YouTube Live, so it works great for them. But if you're going remote, someplace like your studio or a workshop or stuff like that, it's not easy. But I'm hoping to get there and figure things out a little bit more. It's like I could run in the house and go live and then run back out here. But I still need to be able to pull up the chat portion of it, which is what I need. So we're going to be making a version of this chenille bunny. This is the cocoa bunny that I did with brown yarn. And let me tell you, brown chunky yarn, not so easy to find. At the time that I made him, and I want to say he was an idea that sat for a while until I decided, okay, how am I going to do the feet? And what am I going to do for the ears? So sometimes I buy the materials and then I just simmer for a while before I actually get around to putting it together. So I do have a client who wants the same thing. They want the bunny, but specific requests from the customer: gray bunny, white feet, pink ears. That's it. So I was like, okay, so when you do the bunny feet, do you want gray feet with pink pads? How would you like to do that? Because when you're processing a custom order for a customer, you want to make sure that you clarify all the things. Like, so is his feet going to be gray? Do you like how I did it here, where I did chocolate feet, but with beige toes or toe beans? They're little, the individual little soft parts of their paws. So they said, no, we want it to stay white with pink toes, but I have outlined the paws when I put this together in brown yarn so that it looked like the rabbit was solid, all one color, all the way to the bottoms of his feet, and that it was only when you would turn his feet over that you would see he had different colors. Same thing with his ears. I did beige, just keeping with the tones of what I pictured a chocolate cocoa bunny to look like. So we are going to follow the customer's recommendations, and we're going to see how all this turns out. And because I've never done it live in front of my YouTube viewers, I thought we would do it live for you so that you can ask all the questions. A lot of people think, well, she's not going live on YouTube. Why leave a comment? She's not going to read the comment. She's not going to reply to the comment. I reply to every single comment if I see it. And so the nice thing about going live on YouTube is I can actually respond to your comments. And so now Facebook followers have to leave comments, and then I can try to respond to those. And it just, like I said, it simplifies my life a whole lot more, except for the initial pressing live, because YouTube has a 5-minute buffer. So when they push 5 minutes, is it 5 minutes YouTube's clock or 5 minutes the actual clock of the world? How is that factored in? So, Nancy says, hi, Kay, should be Kat. Good to see you. I have a question. If I'm doing a wreath using zip ties, especially one on a Unique in the Creek board, is it absolutely necessary to add ribbons at the same time that you're adding the mesh? No, it's entirely up to you. You as a designer have creative licensing, so whatever works for you. Some people might say, well, as you're combining your deco mesh pieces, use hair ties or rubber bands or whatever, or don't use anything and just add those to the zip ties. Sometimes for us, as we get older, hand strength becomes challenging. For a lot of us, as we are getting older, things become a challenge for us in a nutshell. So whatever way works best for you, do what works for you. So I find that using zip ties to secure all my deco mesh pieces before they go into the actual zip ties on the Unique in the Creek boards work for me, not so much from a hand perspective, but I'm thinking longevity. You know, what am I going to do to guarantee that this won't fall apart if it is left out long term? So I'm always looking for longevity. All right, let's get started. So hi JCat, I'm going to flip you down. I'm going to go over the materials. Thankfully, I have pre-prepped everything like a sous chef does, so you don't have to watch me do all the steps, just a little bit, assembling, putting the bow on, assembling the rabbit, and we should be good to go. So I'm going to pivot you down right over my workspace. Okay, just like this. And I've got a pretty good view. So the supplies you're going to need. now that I have chat up. You will need a 14-inch Dollar Tree frame. You could go 12-inch. You could go 10-inch. I wouldn't go anything lower than that, and I wouldn't go anything bigger than that. I like the 14-inch because when you put them together in proportions, it looks like it should. Like I said, you could go down about 12 inches. Having a 12-inch frame would look something like this. So here's 14. This is a 12. And then you're also going to need the Dollar Tree rabbit head form. I don't know if these are coming out. I have a box of these that I ordered a couple years ago, and I have a lot left. So this is what I'm using today. So like I'm saying, if you piece the body together, looking at it from the ears, the head, and the body, that's a pretty good proportion. The rabbit looks fairly in proportion. I wouldn't go 10 because then the head would be the same size as his body. But going up, definitely a plus. So using our 14-inch frame, we're going to have a slight overlap, and we're going to have a real fluffy bunny. He's been eating a lot of eggs and a lot of candy. And I just like the overall way that they look good together. So you will need both of these. They're available at the Dollar Tree. If you want detailed materials lists with item numbers, links to where you can purchase it, SKU numbers, detailed video tutorial, join my private group. That is one of their best perks that they get. They get materials lists for every private and public live since I've done video tutorials, both private and live, as well as discounts on supplies. So you can do that, and I'm going to add it here. I swear I'm going to designate somebody. I thought Steve was going to make it home in time, but he's not. He is busy right now. I was like, oh good, you're going to be able to come and help me out. No, not. Okay. Oh, there we go. So KatsCreationsNMore.com is where you can get more information about the private group. And I am 13 videos away from finally finishing all the edits on all the videos. 575 videos are online for you, YouTube subscribers. So if you need something to binge watch for almost 2 years, you can start there. I'd love to have you watch any of those tutorials. So bunny head, 14-inch bunny body. You did see them at Dollar Tree. This one, Elizabeth, the metal one, that is good to know that. Elizabeth says, I don't like rubber bands. They fall apart in a short time. You see the rubber bands in your mesh. I've experienced that too when I do the rose ones. Hi, Aurelio. MK Bates. Hello. Okay. So those are what we're using. In addition, pick out whatever color ribbon you want for your bunny. Since it's going to have pink paws, I'm going to go with a pink ribbon combination. The rose on the white is from 5th Street Studios. This is what it looks like up close. Then I'm going to do a solid pink and pair that with a white and pink gingham ribbon. Those are going to be the ones for the bow. Those will get added last. You will also need these. And since Elizabeth, you might know better than me, these are the pink bunny feet. They are printed felt bunny pads. They are, let me give you the dimensions. They are 6 inches tall and they are 3.5 inches wide. If you buy them in the pack, you get 10, so that's enough to make 5 bunnies. Again, when I saw these, I scooped up like 3 or 4 packs, so they just kind of recirculate whenever we decide to get ready to make another one. So we got that. You will also need some felt or some material for your bunny ears. And then you're going to need your yarn. So my client asked for white and gray. So Hobby Lobby this week is having a sale on their yarn. So we have the white, which is only going to be on the feet. And if you can picture this, this is supposed to be a light gray, and it literally says light gray, But to me, out here in the light, it looks beige. So I told my husband, I'm like, get both the light gray and the medium gray. This is the medium gray. So I'm going with the darker because it looks less beige, more gray. So gray and white yarn, you will only need 1 skein of each. If you happen to have some chunky white yarn, you don't need an awful lot. We're just using very little of this. It's just going around the feet because their vision is a gray bunny with white feet. So that's what we're attempting to create together today. So we did the bow. You will need some cardboard. So I save all of my boxes. So sometimes I can use these as templates, which I have done today. I've cut out the ears. You just want to make sure that what you have on them is there's nothing on both sides. If you're using material, sometimes that can kind of come through on your design. If you're not using material like me and you're using felt, it doesn't matter. But I chose to use both ends of this flap. I could also use the center. So honestly, nothing in my shop is ever wasted. So what you are going to do, and I'm just going to show you really simple, is you're going to start wrapping your yarn. And when you wrap your yarn, do not, as you're wrapping it, I'm just using this little piece. As you're wrapping it, don't pull it tight. If you pull it as tight as you possibly can, then you're going to use up way more yarn than you need to, and you'll get rid of that fuzzy, fluffy look that chunky style yarn has. So just wrap it normal, not too loose, not too tight, just right, like Goldilocks would say, and you're going to go all the way around. And then the way you're going to start is you can either tie on, which means you're just going to pick a part here and you tie your yarn on. Ooh, let's go a little bit fatter since it's an example. You can tie it on from the back and then start wrapping. And as you wrap, your little knot ball will get wrapped up in the inside. Or you could, see if we can pull this apart. I think we can. Oh lordy, we just have a little itty bitty piece here. There we go. You could just take a little bit of glue, start your glue right here on the back of your crossbar, just put a little dot of glue, take your yarn, place your yarn right in that glue, let it dry, and then start to wind. Now, when you have a full skein of yarn like this, it can become cumbersome to constantly like be dropping it in the hole and winding it around and drop it in the hole. What you can do is just measure off a good portion of the yarn and then wrap it. And if you run out before you get all the way through, just start the same process here like you started and continue on until you finish. When you finish, it should look like this. This is, I kid you not, the same wreath form, just wrapped with the gray chenille yarn. And I just finished it, but I didn't secure it. So this is where I have finished my last piece. You can see here's my frame. I wrap it in there, and then as I pull this around to the back side, I'm going to add a dab of glue, pull this all the way up, let that set. And also on the back, you want to make sure that you don't have any, sometimes your yarn gets twisted or overlaps on another one, so just keep an eye out on that while you're putting it together. And then once you've got that in place, just go ahead and remove it, and you're good to go with the bottom part. So everything is finished on that. Any questions on that? Elizabeth said, and Lori did too, and Elizabeth said, I've seen them. Where did you get the bunny feet? They came from Dollar Tree a couple years ago. Elizabeth says the bunny feet are new. They changed how they look and you get 16. Now they call them bunny tracks. Interesting. I wonder if they are smaller than that. That makes sense. I'm going to have to check that out. I'll look for those online and then come back and post in the group. So if you're looking for like references or content, it's kind of interesting. In YouTube, it's good that I can just go live. But the downside of YouTube is when I'm not going to show up as scheduled, there's no way for me to communicate that to you. So YouTube subscribers, make sure you're on my email newsletter. That's at KatsCreationsNMore.com. Go all the way to the bottom and sign up for the newsletter. That way I can let you know. Or go to my Facebook page, Kats Creations Wreaths on Facebook, and check there for any updates to see if, you know, there's been, I don't know, we lost power and I can't go live. So that's where I update everybody. So for YouTube viewers, that's where it's going to benefit you. Okay, now we're going to start our bunny head. Couple things before we start our bunny head. So remember how I told you you're going to need, I always find too that the ears are fairly close together. So just gently spread those apart so that when we get to wrapping our ears, we actually have some space to wrap. And then when you do that on your piece of cardboard, trace your ears. This is the front, because the way that my frame is shaped, it kind of concaves on this side, it kind of indents. So we're going to take a pin, and we're going to trace the inside of the ear. And this is the right. So I'm going to put RF, right front. And then here, I'm going to go around. And this is going to be my left front. I need to know that because when you cut them out, the ears are not always the same. Sometimes there's like a weird bend in it. And so when you have fitted that for your right front, and instead you grab the left front, a lot of times they don't line up. So make sure you note on your cardboard. You can also use foam core board, or you can use the same stuff that you do your science fair projects, the little trifold boards. You can use those wherever you can. I'm all about repurposing things. This is free. Foam core would cost. Then you're going to take and you're going to cut these out. Okay. So I've already done my right front. And as you can tell, this right front does not match that right front that I just traced, but that's okay because this is geared for the one I did make, not the one that I just traced. So you'll cut those out from cardboard. Okay, we have those. And then what you're going to do is you are going to get some felt. I like getting it at Walmart or Hobby Lobby, and even Dollar Tree sells felt now. So while you're there picking up your frames and your bunny feet, pick up some pink felt for your rabbit ears or whatever color you want to do. Then you're going to come in on your felt and you want to give a 1/4 inch margin all the way around. So don't trace to your bunny ears. I mean, you could. So if I trace to my bunny ears, I just know I'm going to go a little bit fatter when I go to cut this. But at least this is the shape I need for the front of my bunny ear. Then we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut a 1/4 inch all the way around the ears. This piece of felt actually yielded me quite a few of the ears. I think this was like 11 by 17 piece. So I'm just coming around, doing this, and winding up right here on the bottom. Okay, felt, done. Could probably get another 2 out of there. From here, we want to cover the front. We want a smooth front. So when I am doing this, I'm going to flip it because I want a smooth front, and now I'm gluing on the back side. Remember, front side, gluing to the back. Okay, so I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to go up here and right along the edge of the cardboard, all the way down, I am going to glue and attach my felt. And that's why I'm saying get it as close to it as you possibly can so that when you go and pull this up, hopefully you're hitting that glue all the way down. Just like so. Okay, I've got that all the way. Don't worry about what the back looks like. We just want to be concerned with what the front looks like. Then we're going to do the same thing from here down. Oop. My feet got stuck on my glue stick. Just trying to get that as close to the edge as I possibly can. Again, pull it nice and tight. You can put tension on the other side of that, so you can really pull your felt from the other side. You can cut little indents in here if you want a more smooth finish, but you're not going to need it. I'm just trying to make it easy for you. And then here, we're going to fold up and glue the bottom. So I'm going right over the top of my felt. So I have that folded, just like so. There is our rabbits. Now for here, we are going to tack this right inside and right up here. So I'm going to go right along the felt. So I'm going to pull it in, and then right here I'm going to pull it up. So it's together and up, so it formed a little peak like this. So that when I want to, I'm going to come in, and now I have a perfectly flush end, perfectly flush point on my rabbit tail. So this is, or the rabbit ear on the felt part. This is the front that's going to get attached to my rabbit. Okay. So there is how we add the felt to the rabbit. We're doing the complete felt side is going to be facing up. The back we will cover at the very end. So I have both of those done. Rabbit feet. Let's prep this really quick. Since we have our glue gun out, I'm going to pull, probably don't even need this much yarn. What we're going to do is we're going to outline his feet with the yarn because they wanted white feet for their rabbit. So I like to do it over my silicone pad. I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to go right along the edge. Just like so. And I'm going to start here at the bottom. And I'm just going to pull my chenille yarn all the way up to where I have glued along the edge of that pad. I find that it's easier if you start at the bottom so that when you're splicing or ending your ends, it looks better than trying to splice it at the toe level. Same thing, take your time, go up and around the toe, go all the way up, right here to the top. Same thing, just follow it around with your chenille yarn. I try to make sure that my pink pads are still visible. And then we're going to go this side around that toe. I'm going to stop there. Okay, right around, going back up. And I always just push this back because I want to make sure, you know, the chenille yarn is only sticking to where I have that placed. And then we're going to go down here. Last and final step, right along the edge. Go ahead and pull your yarn. Place that all the way down. And then let me grab another glue stick. have all my little ones, but I need my big ones. Okay. Now, right where we have it meeting, I'm going to cut it right there. And I am going to glue right along the bottom, but also on this end, so that when it lays flat, it can also meet with the other end and form a smooth bunny foot, just like that. So I like adding the silicone pad because the silicone pad will make sure that, you know, if the glue goes beyond that point, you're not gluing it to your cutting mat. And so that is our rabbit feet. So the rabbit's feet are complete. Okay. You put the barcode in for Dollar Tree and the bunny head's not showing up, but you've seen it. Wherever you've seen it, Elizabeth, I'd go snag those because it's probably overstock from last year. And so they're not going to be putting out anymore. I didn't see them on Dollar Tree's website, but it's not to say that they won't come up later. Just to be on the safe side. So once we have our feet done, we have our earpieces done, we have the body done. Now we need to do the rabbit head. So I would recommend wrapping the head only. So just wrap right over. You're literally going to wrap directly over everything and into his ears. Just keep going around as though this was not there. Just go all the way around with your gray chenille yarn the exact same way. Cut off what you think you'll need. Secure it on the back side with glue, or you can tie it on and go over. It's up to you. Then once you have that, it should look like this. This is going all the way around except for the bunny ears. So that's exactly what it's going to look like. Just like that. Just going around. Remember, she said she wanted all gray rabbit, but pink inside the ears, but gray all the way around. So I'm going to finish up the ears with you. So I am taking my yarn and I'm going to start right here on the back. I'll do it here just because it makes sense. I'm going to start with gluing my chenille yarn to the back right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gauge about what I think it'll take. Just like that. So I think that should get me wrapped all the way around. And so now what you're going to do is you're just going to take and wrap your chenille yarn all the way around the ears. This is going to give him that plush look all the way around his ears. So just like that. And I'm always like making sure that we've got good coverage all the way around. Just keep going. Don't tighten. If you notice, I'm just kind of letting the yarn just wrap itself around. Keep going. It's hard to believe that I actually did a YouTube video where I wrapped everything. I think it was like almost a 2-hour video. I was like, Lord, people don't have time for that. Okay, keep going. And when you get to the tip, I'll show you what I am going to do. Because when you get to corners, like going around the outside of a circle, or in this case, you know, we're at a corner. And so we want to make sure we don't have the tip of his ear exposed. I'm going to right now, because I've got good coverage all the way around. I don't fill any of the frame. I'm going to tag the end right here and continue to wrap. And now we're going down the other side. So this is something your kids can do because there's very little glue involved. Let's get this. So it's just throwing it in, wrapping it around. Not super loose, but enough that where you've got coverage. And if you're doing white for your rabbit, take a lint brush or a piece of like the lint tape and just go all the way along your work surface so that you're not picking up glitter, threads. The white will pick up every single thing that you have. And as you can see, that was more than enough to finish. And go up, over. And I'm just finishing this last little bit. I want it pretty snug so that we can't see. This should be the last piece, I believe. Nope, one more. Okay, so I have managed to finish it here. I'm going to do one more time, and then I'm going to go over to this side. And I'm going to go all the way up. But before I do that, because we're starting a new location, I'm going to tag with glue so that it won't separate there. And then I'm just going to go all the way around with my chenille yarn. So I want it to be somewhat even. I might even have enough to go completely all the way around. Although I don't think so. I think I'm going to have just a little piece. Who knows? Do you think I'll have enough to make it? Okay, I'm at the tip, adding our glue right at the tip, going around. Just be careful because that glue can go right through that chenille pretty quick. Okay, and now we're going to finish this one up. I think we will. Because that's what happened with the Dollar Tree candy canes last year. They weren't available for anyone to order, but if you went into the Dollar Tree stores, some people were able to find them just sitting on the Dollar Tree rack. So, okay. So, here we are, finishing up our bunny. And look, that was enough to go all the way through both times. So I'm going to tag it here with glue and go around twice with my chenille yarn. And I like the chenille yarn over the regular chunky yarn because it's a lot fluffier. You use less yarn because you're not having to cover so much. Like this is about 1 to 3/4 inches. So I'm going to secure my little end right here so that that is all anchored in there. Okay, this is the back. It's always difficult to figure that out. I'm like, is that the back? Is that the front? I'm like, I think this is the back. Okay, so I have my little piece here. Now we're going to attach the ears. So super simple. Remember when we traced the ears, it went on the inside. Now it's going to actually sit right on top of that chenille fabric. So when I flip these over, these are now going to cover my rabbit's ears completely. I don't have them to where they're slipping on the inside. So just double check before you glue them that you have the right ones on the right ears. So that's exactly how they're going to go. We need them to have an edge all the way around. Like, you don't want to glue them right to the edge. There needs to be a little bit on the other side so that we can cover the backs. So the backs will be covered with gray fur. So again, right along the bottom, you're going to kind of do this pretty quickly. Run your bead all the way down. All right here. This is going to glue. I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to flip and place that right on the chenille yarn. I'm going to pull this up and make sure I've got good coverage all the way through. We don't want to see any daylight. So just make sure you squish your yarn all the way along the edge. Just like that. We've got that one finished. Now we'll go ahead and glue the other side. Okay, trying to grab this to the outside. Trying to grab it to where I don't burn my fingers. Okay, right to the bottom. So that we have gray all the way around. Flipping this back over, same thing. Push your ears all the way to the front. Make sure we've got good seals all the way through. And so now we have our bunny. And we have our bunny body. And so now we need to attach the bunny to the bunny body. Do you guys have any questions at all about that? So, to give you a bird's eye view of what we're doing, because it's kind of hard to see because everything is covered, I'm going to overlay the frame on top of the rabbit so that you can see. In order for our frame not to flip back and forth, we need to interlock these the frame so that it gives some security to the wreath form. So we're going to be overlapping them so that our bunny's head does not flop backwards. It stops because all this is going to get zip tied together. Like, it'll zip tie here, here, here. And then we can put some on the end if we want to give it some more security. It'll have a little wiggle room, but not a lot. So knowing that, this is where not gluing everything down definitely can help. I'm feeling for the welds. Okay, so I have a weld here, and I'm trying to find the weld on the other side. That is a really big frame. So I'm just running my fingers through each of those sections, trying to find the weld. It's right here. So one here, right where my thumbs are. Let me do this so that I don't have to go digging for them again. There's that one. And I'm just going to use this one. Let me find it right here. Okay, so now that I know, and I'm just checking the orientation. So this is the front. We know that this is the front here. We're going to overlap these two. So I'm going to line these up just like this, but I want to make sure We don't want to pull it so far forward that we have it here, right? We don't want to see this on the other side. We want to make sure that we're attaching the bunny head to where we don't see the bunny body coming through the other side. So now I'm taking gray zip ties and I'm going to lightly move that off. Here is my wreath frame, the first one. So I'm going to go up right here and I'm just going to find my the individual rails. You can see them if you move your pieces. So I'm going to line this up to where I don't see the body. And then I'm going to, I need the middle section of the rabbit's head. Just like this. So just like that. I've attached it to, if I'm lining these up, I've attached it to this rail. Okay? So I'm grabbing the middle. I don't want the bottom. I want the middle one. So now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to filter that through. Here's that end. Nice and tight. Well, that worked. Nice and tight. I'm going to use my zip tie cutters, which cut it flush with the zip tie. So you will never see that on the front side. There's no sharp edges there at all. And the rabbit's head's only going to move just slightly, just a little ways backwards. But we're going to make sure that we try to limit the movement. So again, I'm going down to the bottom of my frame. I've got it in. Now I've got to get it back up through here. It's right there. Okay, right here. Secure it again. Go all the way down. Snip that off. Adding more stability. I'm going to do it on the sides. So I'm going to go pull these out. So now I'm going to go right here on the side. So I can go right to the outside rail. And then I'm going to go right back up. There's that. Nice and tight there. Can't tell that our zip ties are in there. Adding more stability. We're going to do one more to the other side. And then our rabbit should be pretty stable. So again, just peel this back. You can see I've got my finger in from the back side. I'm going to grab the top. Oh no, grab the side. Here, I'm going to go right up. You can see I'm grabbing my center rail. Right here. I'm going to zip tie. Nice and tight. Just like so. And so now our rabbit is pretty, I mean, if I hold him here, he's going to be top heavy to where he's going to like flop. But if I hold him in the center, he's pretty, he's almost 100% straight. He's got a little bend, but he's not a floppy bend, like a floppy bunny. Okay. From here, we are going to add his feet. Would it be possible to shape the ears from a regular frame and somehow attach it, since it's almost impossible to find the bunny frame? So here's what you could do, Nancy. is yes on all of those. You could technically make a set of the ears and put it on a small 10-inch frame. You could form fashion that with like a coat hanger and create that. You could also just use a 10-inch. I've done this before. Do a 10-inch frame here, a 14-inch frame here, and then, you know, like how you can go, a lot of times Target, I think the Dollar Tree will sell them. They have like the fake rabbit ears that go on the headband. You can remove the rabbit ears from the headband and attach them to your form. Just go with the leading of what color are those rabbit ears. Most of the time they're white. But if they're not a color you like, see if you can adapt them somehow. Like when we did the Cocoa Bunny, because I wanted beige and brown. What I basically did is took the rabbit paw print like this. I created a template for it, created a template for all the toes, laid them out on brown felt and tan felt, and then added the tan felt to the brown felt, and then just lined them in, what is it? A chocolate chenille colored yarn. So now we're going to attach the bunny's feet. So it's kind of imperative to make sure that they're on straight before you secure them. And they just get glued right on. There is some separation in the center, so it's like our rabbit. I'm making sure my rabbit is straight. His ears are just, I could probably move. I don't want to snap them though. Move his ears out slightly. Okay, making sure he's straight. And it's hard because he's so long to fit in the length of the camera so that we can see him. And that's, like I said, customer wants gray rabbit, white toes. So that's what we're doing. So here is, I'm lining up the center of his ears at 16, coming down here at 16 and making sure that we have good placement for all of the things. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue my bunny's feet. So again, I'm looking for touch points. Where does this touch the frame? So I'm going to go right up the center. You don't want to go overly crazy with the glue because like any wet item, it could potentially come through and we don't want to see that. So again, I'm keeping it like lined up. So I've got about four pieces here. So I'm going to flip him this way. Okay, there's our rabbit. His feet are glued on. And now we're going to make his bow. What do you guys think so far? Carolyn, the bunny feet came from Dollar Tree a couple years ago. So word has it that they do have the bunny feet again at Dollar Tree, but they're called bunny tracks. They just might not be in your Dollar Tree yet. Thanks, Cheryl. So I have to share something with you guys before we go further. Have any of you guys used magnesium butter at all? Magnesium butter is something that, like, I've heard the whole rave thing about magnesium oil that you're supposed to spray it on the bottoms of your feet, that it helps your body absorb your feet, it gives your body magnesium, which we're all deficient in. It's also great for heart health. But a friend of mine that's on this post, Cheryl, sells these all done organically. So this is whipped magnesium butter. Let's see if you guys can see that. They're in these little super cute tins. And it is made all organic ingredients: coconut oil, shea butter, magnesium oil, essential oils of lavender and frankincense. And it literally, it smells so amazing. And ever since she made it for me and I tried it, I'm like, I can't go to sleep without it. So it helps me go to sleep and stay asleep. And it's supposed to be really, really good if you have the achy legs syndrome, or restless leg syndrome. So there is our rabbit. So if you want some of this, her name of her shop is C as in Cheryl, J as in Jane, L as in Lassiter, Home. Cheryl, post your link to your Etsy shop. She sells these along with all kinds of organic stuff that my family's all addicted to right now. So there's our bunny. We're going to go ahead and add his bow. So I'm going to just kind of march him over to the side. Grab my bow dabra. And I want the rose on top, I think. Yeah, now I'm addicted to it. I can't not have it. Right? Elizabeth says it's good for leg cramps. So we're going to do the rose on top. This will be the middle. And then I'm going to do the gingham on the bottom. So we're going to make a super short bow. So the first thing you have to do is determine how far do you want your tails to hang down into your bow. And my rabbit hangs pretty low. He's like all the way down here because it's going to get attached up here in the center. So I'm thinking that's a pretty good tail length. So I'm going to measure that. It is 5.5 inches, so I'm going to go 6. But we're going to dovetail first, which is bring your wired edges together. We're going to cut from the folded side to the wired point. And there's our dovetail. We are going to measure out 6 inches. And I'm going to gather. And I'm going to twist. And I'm going to go ahead and place that on the inside. Don't need the lavender. We're going to go up and over and then down with a twist. And I'll tell you how big I'm making my loops. I'm going 4.5 inches for the bottom one. It's going to go 4.5, 4, and then 3.5. So then I'm going to go one over here. So I just take my bow dabra, bring it to the 10-inch line, pull this out, and then we're going to add in our 6-inch tails right here. Great. Elizabeth, tell her. Cheryl, post your website for your Etsy shop. She's on Etsy. I want to say it's CJLDecor, the letter N, and then the word more, I think. Okay, now we're going to do the second one. And I smell the lavender. It smells great. And frankincense, I already used that for inflammation anyway. We are going to go, we did 6. I'm going to bring this down to 5.5. And then my loops are going to only be 4 inches this time. Because he can't have an overly big bow. Because he's a small bunny. Or she. She is a small bunny. So I'm just bringing it in, stretching it out, making sure it hits right at 4 inches. Back out. Taking this at 5.5. There's that one. Okay. I don't know what's up. I would do it, but I can't find her. If Steve was here, he'd already have it up and posted. Maybe she is looking for that. Cheryl, just go to the chat and type in your website. So it should be like etsy.com/shop/CJLHomeDecor, I think. This next one we did 5.5. Now we're going to do 5 inches for the loop for the tail. Oh, this is going to be such a super cute bunny. And now we're doing 3.5 inches for the loop. I did 5 inches for the tail, 3.5 inches for the loop. And oh, you guys, the coffee shop that just opened here, I have to share with you what they have available now. It's horrible. 6, it should have been 5.5, 5. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these here. Today, of course, today, because I can't get there today, their homemade cinnamon rolls. They made blueberry lemon cinnamon rolls. Oh, I'm dying. They're just a small-time business, just trying to eke out a living. I'm going to do pink pipe cleaner. I don't know where she went. Don't know. So I'm going to drop this over the top. Gosh, I put it in twice before and it wouldn't show up. I was in the top chat or something. So can you add it right now? So I'm trying to think of like, what's the name of your shop? Is it CJL Home? Just write out the name of your shop. CJL Home. Is it N, like the letter N, and decor? So I'm going to just hand fluff this right now. I'm just going to fluff all the loops. And then I'm going to do the same with the gingham at the bottom. And then I'm going to put this on the rabbit. And we're going to see what we think of Mr. Rabbit. So it's going to go right there. Look how adorable. So guess what? We already know where all the things are. So just separate your chenille. And I'm making sure I have them like one below, one above. And I'm trying to pop this through the other side. Almost done. So it's catching on all the chenille fibers. So pull it down nice and snug, just like so. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to end up fluffing the bow again. Here is, we are going to twist. And then if you wanted to, you could make this the hanger. Or you can make a hanger up here. It just sometimes depends on where your rabbit falls. So I'm going to do it down here. And we'll see how that turns out. While we're on the back, let me show you really quick what you would do to cover his ears. Because I did this on the other one. Because we still have our glue on. So now we are going to go and border all the way around the rabbit's ears. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here and lay in my glue. And then I'm going to go all the way around the pink felt right up there. It's really important that you keep this off to the side because you don't want to see a separation, knowing that, hey, you know, you don't want to see like a fold in there. So take it all the way down to the edge. And of course I ran out of glue. So I'm just going to take this all the way to the edge. I'm going to grab some more glue. Stick another glue stick in here. I'm going to take it all the way down. So compress it right here along the edge. So we have no separation at all. And then you're just going to take it and spiral it back in. And really bump that up against your Chenille yarn all the way through. Be generous. Okay. And you can get really super creative, like you can take your glue and run a bead right in the side and just take and kind of pinch those closed. If you really want to hide seams, it's the back. I mean, gonna stick that in there. And here's a step I never even showed on my YouTube tutorial, was how I covered the back of the ears. And I'm going to cut that off right there. I'm going to take and stuff that right on the inside. Ears covered. Before, after. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing right here. All the way along the outside. Take it right up, right along the seam. Let your chenille form that border so that we don't see that separation on the side. And that's why I spread his ears apart a bit, because had I not, it would be really hard to do separation of the rabbit ears. So right across the top. Right inside. Making sure I've got lots in there to get it around the outside. Again, if you really want to dial that in a little tighter, see, we've already gone through one glue stick. Actually quite a few, I think 4. Just keep spiraling them in. And then I've got one last little bit to go, straight up the center. And I'm going to remove that right here so I can tuck the little end in. And there is our rabbit. Now, if you want to hang him higher on your door, add a hanger up here. I think the way that I have done mine is, he has a couple. I mean, you can let him sit right here on the door. He can sit down here. The fact that I don't cover the back of my wreaths just gives my customers a lot more options when it comes to hanging. Okay, I'm just going to bring this down. Just fluffing his little tails. You could add, you wonder if she'll like them. They're the same color as the pink in his pads, so I'm thinking they're really darn close. Like, literally. But, you know, there's that whole thing. Everything is subjective, right, Elizabeth? We don't know. They might say I didn't want hot pink, but it's actually not hot pink. That is the only color pink. I think there's a pastel pink, but I'm not sure where I would even remotely find them. I had it in a pack of felt that looks like this. So the pink is the only pink that's in this pack of colors from Walmart. So if they wanted it lighter, it would have to be, it would almost have to be a cloth color. So let's get him hung up. I'm going to pivot you back up to the door. Oop. So that's the rabbit we have there. This is the rabbit that we made tonight. So they're literally the exact same size. Finished dimensions is 30 inches long by 15 inches at its widest point. So 30 by 15. It is storm door appropriate. It will fit on a storm door. So that's kind of nice. So there's the chocolate one. And like I said, you can, depending upon your hook, you can have your hook there, which I kind of like. But if you wanted it higher up on the door, now that I'm thinking, I might just take that other secondary hook out just right here, because that hook would be way too high. But if they have a really low door, that might work for them. Giving them options helps out a ton. So then just finish fluffing everything. I'm going to actually move him down right here. I'll fix the bow just like so. And there's our rabbit. So let me turn the camera because you're slightly off. There's our rabbit. So there he is, or she is, in all of her rabbit glory. So there's that option for you guys. What other questions do you have? Sharon says, love it. Your customer should be really happy. Again, I mean, we can only dial it down to so much, and with probing questions, unless they say, here is the type of pink that I was looking for. But again, if that pink felt is not available to anyone they're showing you, then it's not going to be pink felt. It would end up being material, and then it's going to have that material-like quality to it. But I think his feet and his ears match. So there's that. Thank you, Georgiana. Didn't realize you did fill in the back of the ears. I really like the front of the ears. Yeah, it's funny because everyone's like, what did you do to the back? Literally, I just filled them in. They're little spirals. So because legitimately a rabbit wouldn't have cardboard ears, they need to be filled in because they were cardboard. You could, here's another option. If you didn't want to use yarn, or let's say you used too much yarn, didn't have enough yarn, you could cover the back with the cardboard with brown felt or gray felt. But then they would be able to see the two different tones of the colors being present. So, couple things for you guys on YouTube, because I don't get to do housekeeping with you. If you want to join the private group, KatsCreationsNMore.com, you can also become a member of my private group from YouTube. So you can actually click, there are different memberships. I have 3 different tiered memberships in YouTube, but you'll need to email me for all the, like, if you get discount codes, because I think it's like creator, designer, and something else. You get different things based on the level tier that you're at. So you can join there if you don't want to be on Facebook. But keep in mind that all the Facebook tutorials are going to be on Facebook for now. They might slowly get integrated over to a private channel on YouTube, but I'm still trying to figure out how to get live chat to come up on YouTube. So a little at a time. I'm taking it in baby small bites. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will talk to you all on Thursday when I see you guys again at 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. right? 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. So come back and check, and follow me on Facebook if you want the updates of like what's going on and all the things. All right, everyone, have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.